Cushions that will save your life. And we're not talking about preventing back pain. This is the construction know-how Japanese companies are using to attract buyers. Premium-class residential complexes are built on enormous inflatable elements, which are placed between the building's foundation and its basement level. Built-in seismic sensors detect every tremor of the earth. As soon as the readings become critical, the element, like an airbag in a car, inflates with air and essentially lifts the house off the ground. This protects the structure from destruction. This engineering innovation has gained incredible popularity in the land of the rising sun, where underground tremors are no rarity. And within the next 30 years, scientists predict an earthquake of truly catastrophic proportions, which may, in one way or another, affect every continent. In 2011, Japan had already experienced a natural cataclysm of devastating force. On March 11th, tremors in the Earth's crust triggered a tsunami. The country's northeastern coast was struck by the disaster. In some places, the waves reached heights of 40 meters. At that time, more than 15,000 people died and another 5,000 went missing. For several years before the Great East Japan Earthquake, as seismologists named it, instruments had been recording uniform, continuous vibrations in the Earth's crust, reminiscent of a human pulse. And now, not far from the land of the rising sun, the very same thing is happening again. The cause of an earthquake is that the Pacific plate subducts under the Eurasian plate, which is lighter and is pushed upward. This is followed by a gradual warping of the Pacific plate. As it submerges, it cracks, so to speak, and this constitutes the earthquake. In other words, the fracturing of this plate represents a release of stress, which manifests as an earthquake. Right this second, tens of thousands of seismographs around the world are continuously recording underground tremors. We are incapable of even feeling most of them. Nevertheless, scientists need data on every vibration to try to predict large-scale earthquakes. These seismic vibrations are called microseisms. They are very faint and can only be detected by special instruments because an ordinary person cannot feel them. Accordingly, these microseisms are recorded all over the planet by special devices. They are linked to both natural processes, for example waves striking the shore, strong winds or avalanches in the mountains, and to human activity, like a subway or train running or a person building something or driving piles. In the 1960s, Columbia University researcher John Oliver proposed a hypothesis. In addition to artificial vibrations, like those from pile driving, our planet has a natural inherent pulsation. He even determined its frequency, 1 beat every 26 seconds. Oliver believed the planet's pulse could be found somewhere in the Atlantic. Later, his colleagues pinpointed the location with within a few hundred kilometers, the west coast of Africa near the Gulf of Guinea. Most likely, the seismic pulsation is caused by waves breaking against the continental shelf. Ocean waves, for instance, or hurricanes and winds that move large volumes of water interact with the atmosphere. But ultimately, all these atmospheric phenomena and aquatic processes approach the coastal area, where the continental shelf is located. The energy from these natural processes is then transferred to the solid Earth. These processes lead to the formation of microseisms. Scientists discovered a second pulsating zone on the planet near the extinct São Tomé volcano in Central Africa. Here, the seismograph readings matched John Oliver's hypothesis. The planet's heart was beating every 26 seconds. In particular, magmatic melt or volcanic activity can also create microseisms. For example, droplets of magmatic melt rising and gradually approaching the volcano's vent. There is a constant magmatic source that burns through the moving tectonic plate, as if we were moving a sheet of paper over a candle. In 2009, Norwegian scientists decided to test the theory of Earth's pulse. The researchers concluded that the planet's cardiogram is most likely initiated by the Earth's core. Powerful streams of magma are sent towards the surface. Along the way, the mantle, the region between the planet's core and the crust, is heated. It is this process that provokes the synchronous pulsation in different corners of the world. Computer modeling, which can be performed on an interactive globe like this one, helps in assessing the Earth's pulsation. It displays a map of the oceanic crust's age, which helps to evaluate various processes occurring in the ocean. Scientists use such modern technologies to gather information and determine the causes of microseisms. However, scientists are still trying to establish the exact causes, the true frequency of Earth's heartbeat, and all the pulsating zones. But according to some researchers, it is precisely this powerful pulsation that sometimes ends in a hypertensive crisis of planetary proportions. The Chilean sinkhole in 2022 became the #1 news story in many global media outlets. Journalists called it a gateway to hell. Local residents tried to stay away from the enormous hole whose bottom could not be seen. Some Chileans believed it was the work of evil spirits. What else could cause an entire plot of land to collapse through the earth like that? Scientists quickly found an answer to this question. It formed in Tierra Amarilla at the Alcaparrosa mine, which belongs to the Canadian company London Mining. The old abandoned mining workings there, and the fact that the mining was conducted in an uncontrolled manner, contributed to the ground collapsing deep into the mine. Essentially, the roof of the mine gave way and swallowed whatever could be swallowed. Soon, the Chilean authorities confirmed that violations during ore extraction had indeed provoked one of the most massive sinkholes on the planet. But according to scientists, such bottomless pits are usually the result of several factors at once: the aforementioned pulsating microseisms, climate change, and features of the continental shelf. In the case of the Chilean sinkhole, there was a huge underground cavity near the mine, which the mining company claimed to be unaware of, even though investigating the soil before starting such work is mandatory. Before any construction begins, we must inspect the site, check its foundation, drill boreholes, and conduct seismic surveys and other tests so that we know whether or not there is a risk of collapse. Guatemala, however, is no stranger to sinkholes. Huge pits form regularly in this Central American country, and the ground gives way instantly and without warning. For instance, one sinkhole appeared 2 years ago right in the middle of a road. Several cars fell in, and 3 people suffered serious injuries. There are attempts to fill these sinkholes with concrete, but if they are deep, it's pointless because the concrete just flows down through the cracks and sinks deeper and deeper. You have to fill them with something like large rocks, then gravel, then other earth materials. It is extremely difficult to protect oneself from these kinds of sinkholes and from earthquakes, as specialists still haven't learned how to predict them. Therefore, people in seismically active regions adapt as best they can. For instance, New Zealanders, having learned from bitter experience, built a 24-meter-high cathedral out of cardboard. In 2011, the city of Christchurch lost its symbol, a magnificent stone cathedral. It was destroyed by an earthquake. And so, in 2013, local residents decided to erect an exact replica of the cathedral, but this time using cardboard tubes and wooden beams. Even if underground tremors caused the building to collapse like a house of cards, it is highly unlikely that anyone would be killed.